Hello, everyone. We are here for the first episode of Cooking with Frag Mystery Basket. On the cutting board here, there are 5 mystery ingredients. I have no idea what they are. Ashley got all the ingredients together and tallied all the votes, so I have no idea what is underneath these 2 towels. What we're going to do is try to cook the best meal that I can, including those 5 ingredients. We also have the pantry behind us, has miscellaneous fruits, vegetables, oils, spices, stuff like that, and I got a few other things floating around the kitchen too. But I'm going to use whatever I can to make the best meal that I possibly can. This will not be on a timer or anything, though I will try to go as quickly as I possibly can, and then, of course, we will critique afterwards. So rather than just show you the plate and shut off the show, I'm gonna taste it and say if there's something I would have done differently next time or could have done better, or if something tastes bad, I'll be honest about it. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to wash my hands, and then we're going to pull these towels off and see what we have. So the way a mystery basket works, or all the mystery baskets I've done, is you have the pantry, which is your basically ingredients that you can use for whatever. But you must include the 5 ingredients in your dish. Now, it's easier said than done, and I have no idea how bad I got trolled on the ingredients, so we'll see. All right. I'm nervous for this. All right, so we have fennel. Looks like an 8-ounce lobster tail, quinoa, winter ale, and pineapple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Neat. Well, the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to pull this lobster tail over. I know I'm going to poach that, so I'm going to put some water on for poaching. Got to get it to exactly 180 degrees to properly poach the lobster tail. Then we'll pull it out and make some sort of sauce. But I know for a fact I'm going to poach that because I don't have a grill, which is the way I'd like to cook it. So we'll get that water heating up with a little bit of salt, which is here. Next, we're going to have to taste the beer to see what it tastes like and what I can do with it. Holy shizzle, that's bitter. All right. Very wintry winter ale. All right, Fennel Bulb. I'm just going to gather some of these fronds here. Might use that for something. Fennel Bulb's a pretty cool ingredient. We're going to chop off these little arms. I'm actually pretty confident with fennel, though it is a very strong flavor, so we're going to have to figure out what to do with it. All right, so you mostly use the bulb part of the fennel. The top greener part is generally pretty bitter. The fronds can be used as a garnish. Fennel tastes a lot like black licorice. So in my just having tasted the beer and knowing what fennel tastes like, I'm thinking the fennel and the beer will probably go together to make some sort of sauce for the lobster. However, that has to be very delicately balanced because they're both very strong flavors, and lobster is pretty, well, it doesn't have much flavor, but the flavor it does have is good, and I don't want to lose that. Let's take a look at our pantry real quick, what we got going on. We got lemons, limes, orange, apple, kiwi, mango, pear, starfruit. Well, starfruit doesn't taste like anything. Peaches, banana, red pepper, red onion, white onion, green onion, parsley. So we got some thyme and oregano back here. Shallots, my favorite. Carrots, and garlic. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is shave some of this fennel really thin, like, needs to be thinner than that. Want to get the fennel as small as possible, so it's got a very robust flavor, and I'm not going to use very much. I'm going to take this beer that I sipped. I'm going to put a little bit of this on the stove to cook off some of the alcohol, and then we're going to try to season that and make it taste okay, which we'll see if that works out or not. It just might. Okay, we're going to move this over here too. Come on, you can do it, little burner. All right, I don't want to overcook this and turn it into syrup because that'd be really gross. Okay, we're going to take this Fennel Bulb and throw that into the beer. We'll probably end up straining that off and thickening it somehow, maybe with honey to sweeten it up. All right, see how strong this fennel is. You always want to taste your fennel because some fennel is really strong and some's really mild. It's definitely on the milder side for fennel fronds. Sometimes they taste like straight up black licorice, which I think is a great flavor, though pairing that with lobster is going to be tricky. So if you cook your beer just a little bit, you get all the carbonation out of it, of course, but you also get a little bit of the alcohol out. Though you're going to be left with something pretty yeasty. You're going to have to adjust the flavor of it. That's what I'm going to try to do. This could taste absolutely awful. Just forewarning, it could. I'm going to taste it and let you know. Right now, it's just an idea. All right, so we're definitely going to want some citrus elements with the seafood. So we're going to say lemon there for sure. Might even use some lemon zest. I'm curious how this is going to turn out. So that's going to kind of tie everything together. Might actually use some of the pineapple in this as well. Maybe. All right, we're going to pull this off to the side real quick. Let it cool down. Then I'm going to taste a spoonful, and we'll adjust from there. While we're kind of thinking here, I can go ahead and prepare this pineapple or get it broken down into a spot where I can use it. I'm going a little bit deeper on the cuts here than I normally would if I was preparing this for like home use. So I want to make sure I don't have any of the seedy stuff on there. Like inside the pineapple, there's all this this flecks and stuff. They don't taste bad, but they have a really weird texture. We're not just serving raw pineapple on the plate. There's an extremely tart pineapple, which actually does not work for what I wanted to use it for, which is in that sauce. But we'll see. You want to avoid having as much of this stuff on if you're going to do something fancy or use it in something else. That also has kind of a bitter flavor to it, the actual skin. It won't hurt you to eat, though. Okay. Let's give this core a taste. Okay. The core is really sweet. That's a good piece. Okay. Okay, these can go away. Holy guacamole. All right, our beer looks cool enough to try. Okay, the fennel definitely came through in the beer. There's a little bit of like black licorice kick at the end. Still a little bit too boozy, so we're going to put it back on the heat. And then I think what I'm going to try to add is honey to that to try to get the that really bitter kick out of it. And then, if that thickens up properly, I think I'm going to Monte Burr with some butter and see what happens. We'll see what chat's saying here. Yeah, this is a pretty brutal basket, if I don't say so myself. You guys are mean. All right, there's our pineapple. Honey and pineapple juice might make the sauce. I don't want to put all the mystery ingredients into the sauce, though, because that's lame. So, let's make a little slaw for the side here, a little citrus slaw. We'll use green onion, pineapple, red pepper, and really thinly sliced red onion. So we're just going to make a little bit of this in a bowl here. All right. pineapple. Pull as much pith out of this pepper as I possibly can. I'll just be really thinly sliced. Well, pepper has an inherent sweetness that you don't want to go overkill on. Just a little bit. Probably only use about half this would be my guess. Can hear my beer cooking. Don't want to overdo it. Okay. That'll be good right there. Always want to clean as you go, no matter how big of a hurry you are in cooking. It's always going to save you more time to clean than not to. Okay. So my water came to a boil here for the lobster, so we're going to try to get this down to the 180 degree level. And we're going to taste our beer again. All right. Okay, we got a lot more of the alcohol out of it. What we're left with is a very yeasty flavor, though. The fennel's definitely in there, though. We're going to leave this on the counter for a second to cool. Hot beer has a lot different flavor than cool beer, and we're definitely not serving that as a hot sauce. We're going to let that cool down for a minute before we adjust the seasonings, or try to. If that doesn't work, we can always do Plan B, which I don't have formulated yet, so I hope it works. Okay. Some interesting looking green onions, very tiny, very dirty. Okay. So I usually do like a super biased cut on these, but I actually want to use the white of the onion here for this little slaw, not the green portion. The white has a really mild flavor, which is exactly what I want for this. So we're just going to take all of the white and a little bit of the green, then we're going to chop this. All right. Not gonna lie, super nervous about this mystery basket. Yeah, I'm not being critiqued by a professional chef or anything, but I certainly know what tastes good and what doesn't, so I'm hoping I can pull off something pretty great here. It's been a long time since I've been out of my comfort zone cooking. When you cook at home a lot, you generally gravitate towards things that you're comfortable with. And honestly, right now, I'm trying stuff that I have not done in a long time or flavors that I'm not terribly comfortable with to see if I can make it work. Because that's half the fun. If I just do what I want to, I just break out the garlic, thyme, and butter poach the lobster tail and do all that. And that doesn't really make for the funnest mystery basket. So we'll try some cool stuff. Okay. So in this bowl we have pineapple, red onion, green onion, red pepper, and then we're going to squirt some lemon juice in there. Get this back here. But before we squirt the lemon juice, I want to zest this lemon because I have a feeling that's going to go into the beer after a minute here. Where's my zester? There it is. All right, we're going to do one more clean here. I'm going to move this pineapple back. We're going to give the cutting board a full clean, and then we will move on. Once again, cleaning as you go, very important. I used to work with a guy that would sweep the line every 25 minutes. I love that guy. He was a very good and clean person to work with. When you're working on a cooking line, it gets so messy so fast. All the little scraps that fall onto the floor and then get ground in by your shoes and everything else is pretty intense. Now, I could add lemon zest to this little slob. I don't think that's going to be a good combination. We are, in fact, going to taste this before we do anything, but the lemon zest itself just does not have the acid that I want. Okay. So this is pineapple, red onion, red pepper, and green onion whites. Freaking tasty. A little bit of lemon juice. I wanted to get this done first so the lemon juice can marinate all this stuff and actually become a good citrus side for the lobster. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Move the zest to the side. Okay, let's taste our beer again, now that we have cooled down a bit. So all I have in here is the beer and the fennel. Still very yeasty. Let's experiment here. Let's try something. I'm gonna throw some pineapple slices in this beer and see what happens. We have plenty of beer, so we can always we can do another one here. Let's see what happens if we cook this pineapple in the beer. If that turns out to be a good combination or not. I have a feeling it will, because the pineapple is actually pretty sweet. It's on the tartar side of sweet for a pineapple, but not like grossly sour like some pineapples can be. And having tasted that little concoction I made of the pineapple, red pepper, red onion, green onion, I can safely say that the fennel fronds will be a good garnish with that. Definitely has the right flavor profile. Okay, next up we're going to cut another garnish, which is going to be these green onions. Cut these real thin on a bias. Get some nice rings. And we'll put these to the side for later. I want to get this ingredient off my cutting board so we can move on to something else. Okay, cool. Next, I need to get some water on for my quinoa, because if I don't do that, we're going to be pretty far behind. Okay. That's all sorted. We'll take this little pot. I believe quinoa is 2-to-1, right? So weird, like some quinoas say to cover and cook, and some say don't cover and cook. We're going to cover and cook and see what happens. All right, little pineapples. All right, so this is going to be... I'm going to grab a strainer real quick. Really, really, really important that you wash your quinoa before you cook it. If you don't wash your quinoa really well, what happens is it tastes like dirt. Okay, we're going to do... It's a 4th cup. It's a 3rd cup. I don't want to do a 3rd cup. Actually, that'll be okay. We have 2/3 on here. No, yeah, 2/3. We'll do a 3rd cup of quinoa, which we'll wash really good, and then we'll grab a 2/3 cup of chicken broth. If you add anything sugary to quinoa when you're cooking it, it'll turn into like this really weird sticky thing that the quinoa hasn't really fully cooked. And it's really weird. I've made that mistake multiple times, and I prefer not to make it right here. So we're just going to go with straight chicken broth, and then we will season that after the fact. And get down level with this to make sure we got the right ratio. Looks good. All right, there's chicken broth. I'm really nervous about this pineapple and beer. I don't know exactly where that's going, but I can tell you right now the beer and fennel by itself does not taste very good. So we're going to have to figure that out while the quinoa cooks. On a good note, quinoa has to rest for a little bit, so we got time here. Okay, we're going to tap that as dry as we can. Put that in the liquid. I'm going to bring this to a boil, cover it, and then let it boil for about 15 minutes. Whoops. Okay, let's pull this pineapple off. Holy shit, that's really good. Wicked. Okay. Let's see how the broth itself tastes now. We've put pineapple in there. Still tastes a lot like really wintry ale. Though we've definitely infused that winter ale into the pineapple. And I'm going to let this sit here with it. We'll also double use the pineapple. We had the pineapple and the slaw. We also have fennel fronds going on top for a garnish and accompaniment. That's really good, though. What I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to add lemon zest into this liquid, and then we're going to heat it up for about another 2 minutes. And then we will pull it from the heat and let it sit till the very end. But that actually worked out really nice. Who would have guessed beer and pineapple? It pays to experiment. Okay, do I have the right size lid? Yes. All right, let's take a look at this lobby tail. Before I do, let's see if we want anything else fresh. Mango, pear, no. Kiwi, maybe. Shallots, yes. Okay, I'm going to make sure I'm using everything here. We've used the quinoa, or it's cooking right now. We used the fennel. We've used the beer. We've used the pineapple. And all I have left is this lobster's tail. Okay. Now, I can't go like a classic garlic butter with the lobster tail, not with the acidic ingredients that we have going on right here. So we're going to have to come up with another sauce. I still think we can do a butter sauce. I just don't want to do garlic butter because garlic does not fit into these flavors at all. So they say to cook it like rice, which is really interesting to me. All the chefs I work for say turn the quinoa on, don't cover, just let boil till it's done. But especially at this low amount, I will follow instructions. We'll turn it down, cover, and let it do its thing. There you go. All right, so this beer pineapple is going to be sorted, and I think that's a good use of the beer. It's really bitter, guys. Like, this winter ale is super, super hoppy. I don't think there's any way avoiding the hoppiness of that one. All right, now we're going to move over here with the water. I'm going to get this to 180 degrees, and then we're going to drop the lobster to start poaching. Let's do, I think an orange butter sauce would be pretty fantastic with the raw accompaniment of that red onion, pineapple, and red pepper, as well as the cooked pineapple. I think this will all kind of tie together pretty good. So I'm going to make an orange butter sauce for the lobster. Okay, we're right at 180 right now, but I want to give it another minute because we're going to drop an ice-cold lobster tail in there, and that's just going to kill the temperature. So I want to make sure it's actually pretty stable before we do that. Though timing-wise, we're doing okay. All right, to make orange butter, which I'm just going to bring this back over here. So, we got to take our orange. The real trick with making a butter sauce is having it not break. So we're going to try to make a beurre blanc sauce, more or less, which is a lot of butter. Yeah, I can hold the beer up to the camera. What? Oh, yeah. Here it is. Kolschen Brewing Company Winter Ale. Make sure it's here. Which is a local brewery here. I've never had their winter ale. It is pretty tasty. I have tried a lot of different kinds of beer. I don't really drink very often, but I mean, if I get a beer with a meal, or I like having a beer with a meal. Okay, we're going to get this orange zest pulverized as much as we can, and then we're going to juice the orange. And then we're going to write a fine line of, I'll use shallots too. Orange zest and shallots. Then we're going to add the juice, orange zest, shallots to a pan, reduce that for a while until most of the liquid's gone. Then we're going to start mounting it with butter. Monte Beurre. All right, this is a big shallot. Actually, it's a rotten shallot. No, thank you. Okay. Shallots are like a happy mix between garlic and onions. It's like if those two had a baby, you get a shallot. I'm actually going to keep these shallots not diced. I'm going to slice them super thin. They'll kind of evaporate in the liquid, but still be there. Not really a texture element, but they'll look nice. We're going to go as thin as possible here. That last one was not very thin. I'll call myself on that. Oh, I remember the prep days needing to fine dice 4 cups of shallots for that freaking Forestier recipe. I was a cruel chef. Shallots will make you cry a lot like onions. In fact, they will make you cry in a big way. They're quite potent most of the time. All right, so we got these in little rings. Okay, we got orange zest and shallots. We got our pan right here. Turn it down a smidge. We're going to use the smallest amount of oil here, just enough to coat the pan since we're going to come back in with butter. If we overdo this, we're going to break the sauce. What time is it right now? 7:36. Okay, we're going to check the quinoa at 7:42. The smallest amount. That's honestly probably too much. We might break the sauce, but we might not. Okay. You can already tell this is a really juicy orange, which is very good. Okay, we're going to turn this down definitely as low as we can. Definitely not burned, but it's a little bit hotter than I'd like. Then we're going to add just a smidge of the orange juice. Well, more than a smidge. We're gonna add it up. Once this cooks down, even if the orange is sweet, it'll be quite bitter. I'm going to do the other half here in a minute. We're going to let this just kind of sizzle on the pan for the moment. Okay, sweet. Where was I? Butter. We'll use about a stick of butter here. Okay, let's check this. This looks really good. We're going to dunk the lobster tail. Sorry, Lobby. And your little legs. What? Which burner? Sure. Oh, it's going to be a lot less exciting than making the sauce. All right. We'll dunk this in. And hold it to start cooking. I'll show that again, but I want to start folding the butter in before we do anything else. All it is water. That's it. I'm definitely going to crack the lobster and get it out of the shell once it's done. As much as the in-tail preparation looks nice, it's okay. Okay, so we're gonna start making this butter sauce, and then we'll switch pots. All right, I'm gonna try to squeeze a little more juice out here. Okay, good. Let that disintegrate or evaporate. We're gonna cube up this butter. We're gonna make it into pads. Okay. It's been a very long time since I've cooked lobster. Like, let's say 6 years since I've had it on a menu somewhere that I cooked. Okay, so our orange zest and shallot mixture is pretty much reduced. We're actually going to turn off the heat right here, and we'll move the lobster over. He's already starting to foam up a little bit. Go right there. And then you move it off the heat, let your pan cool down a little bit, then we're going to start rolling in butter. I can actually use the top of this pan as an induction vessel to melt the butter. If you add the butter to your pan when it's too hot, you're going to break your sauce. If you add it when it's too cold, it won't melt. So we're trying to get that nice balance between the two. Really surprised how good the pineapple in Winter Ale came out. That beer's pretty awful to cook with, and that tastes really good. So what we have in here is lemon zest, Fennel Bulb, Kulshan Brewing Company Winter Ale, and some fresh pineapple, which we let reduce. I was in the back of my head thinking I'm going to go for honey with the beer, but there's no way that the honey could have overcome the ultra bitterness of the sauce. Okay, so now we're going to just take these pads of butter and just kind of swirl them around the pan. The idea here is to have your sauce not melt, so you want it to look that nice creamy butter color, ideally. Though having it stay like that is not always easy. If you add too much butter at once, it'll break the sauce. If your pan's too hot, it'll break the sauce. If your pan's too cold, the butter won't melt. If you have to reheat your pan, you're probably going to break your sauce. So what we did with this pan was we added orange zest and shallots, reduced it with orange juice, and now we are melting the butter beurre blanc style. Also, if you don't evaporate your liquid enough, you're going to kill the sauce. Now, if your sauce breaks, it's not the end of the world, because a broken sauce tastes exactly the same as a married sauce. It just won't look as nice. In the world of food, looks are pretty important. Okay, we're at 41 now with this quinoa. I want to say a sincere thank you, everybody, for supporting the Patreon and making this segment possible. This is way out of my comfort zone. I definitely have a comfort zone when it comes to cooking, and this definitely pushed me way out of it, which I am grateful for. All right, I'll use a whisk to flip you over. Why not? Ah. So this was a frozen lobster. We tried to get live lobster, but it wasn't available. And I didn't really feel like butchering a lobster on stream. Last time I did that, it did not end so well. They're tricky little buggers. Them and crabs are very hard to kill. Humanely, that is. Easy to kill, hard to do humanely. Okay, I think my sauce might actually hold together here. I think we might be okay. It's definitely more sauce than we need, so we're going to stop there with the butter. We used about 3/4 of a stick. This will be a nice, rich accompaniment to go with the bitterness of that beer pineapple and the sourness of that lemon pineapple, red pepper, red onion slaw that we went with. Only thing I'm missing is spice, but I don't think I'm going to mess with the spicy element on this particular dish, because we have so much richness in the lobster and the butter. Well, it tastes like a citrus beurre blanc. Nailed it. Okay, I was going to stab this guy with a thermometer. Okay. Okay, we're looking at about 2 more minutes on this lobster tail. Lobster is so freaking easy to overcook. Like, it is one of the easiest things to overcook in the seafood kingdom. And definitely don't want to do that. I'm going to get this bowl of ice now. Okay, we're at 7:44, which is 2 minutes over the time I said I was going to check the quinoa. So let's take a look. Okay, there's quinoa. You can see it's still very wet, which means it needs more time. Wet quinoa is not a problem, but it's better if it's not. It's definitely a little bit better fluffy, in my opinion. I'm actually going to take the lid off here and let it kind of cook some of that liquid out real fast, and then I'll cover it and let it sit. 7:46, we're going to pull the lobster tail and go from there. My sauce held, you can tell, because it's not breaking apart yet, so that's very good. Let that cool down a bit, and it'll be a very nice viscosity to be a sauce. Dude, I can't believe how good that beer and pineapple went together. I got lucky. Okay, this butter can go back here. Let's clean up real quick. Clean station is a good station. Don't need the zester anymore. Don't need this anymore. We got our garnishes. Yes. Garnish. Good. Good. Do we use everything is the most important thing to ask yourself. We use the beer and the pineapple. We're double using the fennel, double using the pineapple. I can't double use the beer because it's just too weird of an ingredient. I wish I could. Okay, that looks fantastic. Now we're going to pull this off to the side and let it sit until we plate. All right, I'm going to say that for sure the lobster tail's done. I'm going to grab this with a couple spatulas, actually. Nice and red and starting to curl up. That's kind of what you're looking for. Perfectly cooked lobster is like the most delicious thing. It's super buttery and rich and nice. Whoo! Almost died there, man. Improperly cooked lobster, on the other hand, is not the best. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not the best. We're going to have to let this cool for a few minutes before I break into it here. But basically, we're going to cut it right down the middle and then pull the meat out. Cut it into medallions and then plate. We're going to keep the quinoa pretty plain. I'm actually going to serve that with the fennel fronds and green onions. We'll keep it kind of nice, and let's use some red onion on there too. Red onion's a good thing for that. Quinoa is one of my favorite grains. I used to eat a lot of quinoa when I was a cook because it was something I could cook up in big batches. So when I got home, all I had to do was throw it in the microwave, which was a big deal. When you cook for a living, it is really hard to get motivation when you get home to, throw together a meal. People always say, oh, it must be so nice to live with a cook. But really, cooks don't want to cook when they get home. That is just kind of the way it goes. Okay, that'll do. Okay, let's see if I can get this open. I don't want to hurt myself. Got there. You know what? I can already tell this is cooked really nicely. It's just got that look to it. I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera. I'll try to show you. You can see where it's kind of not, it's like off-white, not this really gnarly white it is up here. So this means we did a good job cooking the lobster. And you can tell by the feel of it, it's not really rubbery. So that's great. Okay. Make sure we got all the meat there. We sure did. A lot of times in restaurants they'll do that and then they'll pull it out for you and then put it back in there. We're going to disregard the shell for this moment. All right, we're on to plating. Awesome. I think this towel can go in the we'll make that the dirty pile. Okay, I got a plate over here. All right, so we're going to take our lobster tails. Well, lobster tail. I'm going to fold them up like a shrimp here. We're going to take our citrus beurre blanc. Yep, my sauce broke eventually. I left it too long. It's not a bad break, but it's definitely broken. I'm not going to use a lot of this butter because really lobster is good by itself. Doesn't need a lot of help. Okay, there's that. And then we're going to take our little slaw here. I'm going to put this at the base of the lobster, not directly on top. See if I can make this curve a little bit, make it look better. Yeah. Sure can. And then we're going to take our beer pineapple and do a good. I do have a fork left. I know it's home plating, but I'm still going to do it like I would. It's a nice cleanup. Okay. Then we're going to make like a crescent shape with the quinoa. I got a mess to clean up after this. I did pretty good cleaning as I go, but you know what? You can't win them all, right? The quinoa will be a nice like palate cleanser with this. Doesn't have to be... you don't want everything on your plate to be exploding with flavor. We have some very flavorful stuff going on with the citrus per blanc and the red pepper, red onion, green onion, beer pineapple, very flavorful as well. I'm going to take these fennel fronds. Let's do this. Am I forgetting any elements? I don't believe so. The red onion will go right here too. All right, we've done it. That is the mystery basket right there. Now we're going to try everything, and then I will go over what I thought I did good, and if I messed anything up, which I'm sure I did. All right, we'll need a knife. Actually, knives are on the table. Alrighty, let's start with the lobster, because that's what I'm excited about. I'm going to try the lobster by itself. Holy shit, I cooked it perfectly. Oh my god, I haven't had lobster in too long. Alright, now we're going to try it with our little slaw here. The slaw needs more lemon juice and smaller pieces of pepper. Now we're going to try our beer pineapple. I should have taken the pineapple out of the beer after cooking it. It's still very good, but the bitterness is lingering longer than I would have liked. And it definitely overpowers the lobster. I think if I would have pulled it right at the start, it would have worked out pretty good. Not that it's bad, but I think that'd be a small improvement. Quinoa's great, as it always is. I think the fennel and the quinoa actually works really nice. It wipes out the overpowering of the beer on the pineapple and gets you ready for your next bite of lobster. You know what? I think it did pretty good. I definitely could do some stuff better next time, but I will say 7.5 out of 10, and for the circumstances, I'm quite happy with that. I'll be answering questions in chat for just a couple minutes here. If you guys have any other questions, once again, thank you guys for the support in making this segment possible. That was a heck of a lot of fun. Yeah. Clearly, try the end of the lobster, like this piece right there. Oh yeah, you want a fork and a knife too to eat? Sure, whatever. Gotta say something for Amelia too. Helena Costello, a little hand to you, friend. Welcome back to the Dapper. Well, this is a quarterly segment, as is Smug 711. So if we maintain the amount on the Patreon goal, we'll be making some changes to that this weekend. So we'll be at the goal for the mystery basket. So as long as we maintain that goal, we will have an additional one in about 3 months. No, I did not salt the quinoa, and frankly, it did not need it with the chicken broth. Yeah, the pineapple beer is really good. It's a little more bitter than I would have liked, but it wasn't when I tasted it before. So what would you traditionally pair with beer and a sauce? Well, it really depends on the beer because beer can be all kinds of different levels of hop and bitter. But basically, what you're trying to do with a beer type sauce is balance out that bitter with something sweet and then something spicy. Ashley says, Pee Wee, follow up your wash with a aloe based hand sanitizer. Just unsalted butter in the sauce. Um, Always in the habit of getting unsalted butter because in kitchens you only use unsalted butter because you add sauce afterwards. No kitchens use salted butter for the most part. Yeah, quality really helps for cooking beer. You're looking for like a nice. I like a nice mild hop. This is like 3 times as hoppy as I would have liked for a beer. Oh yeah, break the sauce. What that means is that the fat and the liquid inside the butter has separated. If you meld the sauce together perfectly, which just turned out pretty good, it'll look very creamy and it looks a lot more appetizing than the drops of oil or fat going into the liquid. What other meat would you sub for the lobster? Like shellfish, shrimp, crawdads. Why do kitchens not use salted butter? Because you always just add the salt as part of the recipe, which is not included in the butter. So if you use salted butter in most kitchen recipes, you're going to end up with a very salty dish because you're not accounting for that salt. All recipes have salt in them, so you just don't see salted butter in kitchens for the most part. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. I had an absolutely wonderful time doing this segment tonight. It was a true honor and a pleasure. We'll be back at it on Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific. We have some really exciting announcements coming up next week. I'm really excited about a few things, which we'll talk about then. I think you're all wonderful and amazing. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be back in. We'll be back at 7 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. That was a really fun segment. Thank you, everybody, for making it possible. Much love.